Thank you for joining us on the Monday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. Today on the program, President Buhari declares a Monday work-free day for armed forces. Direct flag to fly at half-mast at public buildings to mourn military officers who died in plane crash as Nigeria Air Force launches safety audits of all its aircrafts. And later on the show, Southwest APC leaders back Southern governors ban open grazing, kick against secession. I'll be hanging out with Tunde Abaton, Oba Adoye, while Babajide Kolade Otitoju joins us from Abuja. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. It's nice to have you guys join us. Oba Adoye, Tunde Abaton, and Jide Otitoju will be throwing in the passes from Abuja. It's still being prepped. An atmosphere of gloom and sadness still envelops Nigeria over the military aircraft clash that killed the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Atahiru, and 10 other military officers in Kaduna on Friday. To honor memory of these fallen heroes, President Muhammadu Buhari has declared Monday as a work-free day for personnel of armed forces. President Buhari also ordered that the national flag be flown at half-mast in public buildings across the country. Meanwhile, the Air Force High Command has launched safety audits of all its aircrafts, and outcomes of the investigation board is being awaited. Gentlemen, for the flag, our colleague from Abuja, Somna Sambu, actually went around those formations and the picture of those flags, and they were still fully flown. Fully flown. No, so nothing went off. So, you know, as a journalist, we pay attention to we pay attention to details like that.
Absolutely.
So, but today, it was a terrible Friday.
It shows the kind of nation that we are, the kind of people that we are as a nation. You just said now that as journalists, but as Nigerians, all of us need to pay attention to such details. We are talking about Chief of Army Staff, who of course was the #1 soldier in a country that is fighting a war. Let's put it that way. Nigeria is fighting a war. And such a thing, you know, it was an accident. It was not planned. And one would have expected that the commander-in-chief from whom this military takes order and directives need to, you know, have shown more empathy towards their plight. And it took Mr. President, or the presidency, so to say, that's a popular slang. Presidency seems to be popular than president these days. It took them another 48 hours or so before declaring that flag should be flown at half-mast and paying respect to the fallen heroes. This, of course, a lot of people are trying to create alibi and excuses for, you know, the president in taking time before making that announcement. But hey, we are talking about finest, you know, topmost, the top class of the military here. And of course, Mr. President himself, a retired soldier, should have done much more than this. You know, the optics is not favorable to him. You know, if you check online, check everywhere, and, you look at the reactions of the people as to that. Kind of country that it leaves so much, you know, it could have been an opportunity for him to make far-reaching statements and, of course, serve as a kind of encouragement to soldiers who are still, you know, at the war front or who are still serving this country. But unfortunately, Mr. President did not see it that way.
Today, Abaton, it's very unfortunate, and then this man just spent like how many months in that particular office, and when I watched the burial, emotional moments, painful, quite painful for a country to lose one of its best.
Well, it is quite unfortunate. Unfortunately, in the sense that exactly 3 months ago, February 21, we also lost some members of the Air Force and soldiers on that particular, at Kaduna, on that particular day when we had a similar aircraft that crashed. So you begin to ask yourself, is the problem a systemic failure of the military or a systemic failure on the part of those people who are operating the system? Because those who are operating the system, that is men. Then we talk of material. If we talk of material, you look at the state of our equipment, of our aircrafts. The parents of one of the pilots who died, the man came out, he granted an interview and said that boy is the only son he has. And that invariably, he was telling Nigerians that the guy has always been complaining about the state of the aircraft that Nigeria has. So I think we need, besides what we are doing now, we are a country in which our response attitude to emergencies is nil in Nigeria, because it should not have taken so long. And secondly, we are also a country in which, whenever we have any problem, we don't look, we like to scratch the surface rather than go back to what is the remote cause of it. When the accident occurred 3 months ago, one would have expected the military authorities or the government, or like you said, the presidency, not the president, to do something about an audit of our military hardware. Of our hardware includes ammunition, includes guns, includes aircraft and some other things. But nothing was done until something again repeated itself exactly 90 days after the first one. And that has given room to a lot of conspiracy theories, which I won't believe in it. Let us assume that if a nation fails to prepare, it will fail. So Nigeria has so far failed to prepare to get its acts together. And like Abayo said, why should it have taken us 48 hours to declare money? Because you know how much it costs to train a flight officer. Talk less of for somebody to become a general in the Nigerian army. It will have taken, like on Saturday, one of the colleagues at Harvard called me. They attended, the man has gone to Harvard. You know how much it takes to train somebody in Harvard? About 19 of them. They have gone to Harvard.
A military guy?
No, they are not military, civilians among them who have gone to Harvard with the chief of army staff. And you know how much Nigeria has spent on him. Talk lots of the fact that the experience that Nigeria has lost by losing him, and the fact that the trauma on the family. Now you ask me whether any Nigerian parent will be excited if any of the everybody should say that I want to go and join Air Force, I want to go and join Army, I want to go and join Navy. So all this attitude like this will not encourage patriotism in Nigeria to want to serve their fatherland, no matter what happens. But I doubt it whether Nigerians have not been affected by the response of government whenever any of our heroes, whenever any of our good men, we lose their true attitude that is becoming of a country like Nigeria.
I'm sure Babajide is ready now. Now, Jide, the Air Force High Command has launched a safety audit of all aircrafts, and the outcome of the investigation is being awaited. Now, talking in terms of the pilots, questions are being raised about their age. Questions being raised about. We talked about experience yesterday, and we're looking at the health of these aircrafts. And when last have we? In the last 3-4 months now, we've recorded 3 accidents, and a lot of people are asking questions. So let's look at that. Let's look about the safety audits. Let's look about the personnel.
Yes, I'm happy that they are talking about the need for a safety audit, because it is very, very important at this time. No matter how new your aircraft is, it can develop problems at any time. So you must constantly check the aircraft to ascertain its airworthiness. The Air Force has taken a good decision to do a safety audit on all its aircraft, because no one knows when the next accident will happen. In the case of this King Hair Beechcraft, King Hair, it was bought as a brand new aircraft in 2015.
Brand new.
That particular aircraft has a tremendous safety record. We bought 3. We've lost 1 now. So we've got to find out what really happened, because in other parts of the world where this aircraft has been used, it's been really, really successful in terms of its safety record. And when an accident like this happens, you must do a thorough investigation. What we've been told, the preliminary investigation by the aircraft and by the Air Force, is that this was the result of bad weather. we've been told that when the aircraft landed, you know, it's not a big aircraft, it's just a small aircraft designed to carry like 12 persons maximum. So when it landed, there's usually a bounce. When the pilot lands the aircraft, there's usually a bounce. There was a tremendous wind that was said to have flung the aircraft off the runway, and then the aircraft tumbled on bare ground, and then it caught fire because it was already, the tank was already filled from Abuja on their way. The pilot, the captain of the aircraft, Ashani, is one of the most brilliant of them all. And this was not the first time he was flying the chief of air staff or other service chiefs for that matter. So he must have felt that even under that weather, that he could successfully land the aircraft. But you know, when it comes to nature, can be very unpredictable. That fearsome wind was said to have blown the aircraft off the runway and straight to bare ground, where the pilot lost control, and then it tumbled, and naturally it caught fire. So the information that they have in terms of the weather forecast did not indicate at that time that it was dangerous to travel. I've flown in similar aircraft with the Air Force before, and we were supposed to go to Makurdi along with AVM Idris and others, but we were told that the weather was bad in Makurdi. We had to stop in Abuja, and that aborted the trip. So for that pilot, one of the finest, one of the most trained, the best trained that we have, to have landed at that time, he must have felt that he would be able to successfully maneuver the aircraft and land successfully. But according to the Air Force, the fearsome wind, you know, took complete control of the aircraft from him and flung the aircraft off the runway.
Tell us about this story
happens,
about...
you could say that it was completely out of the hand of the pilot, that it could happen to anyone. When people say that they are using young pilots and all that, it's a trend all over the world to use young pilots as fighter pilots and the rest of them. It's the trend all over the world. So it's not in Nigeria alone that we use young pilots. In America, some pilots as young as 19 years of age even fly fighter jets.
I know what they used to determine that is just the hours.
You could say someone who is 29 years old, for example, is too young. Do they even know how old are the pilots flying the presidential jet and all that?
Julie, I'm talking about this social media story. The so-called eyewitness, they came out to say that they saw some people in parachute ejecting after the explosion mid-air.
It's very ridiculous. That particular footage was that of 2018. In 2018, when the Air Force was rehearsing for the October 1 celebration,
bring that.
There was this accident, and two of the pilots ejected to safety. But we lost squadron leader Babahari in that particular incident. Now, this aircraft, the King Air, is not a fighter jet. It's a passenger aircraft. Fighter jets are the only aircraft designed to eject passengers. And they are built, they're designed to eject the occupants. And fighter jets are built to take a maximum of 2 persons. That is the pilot or the co-pilot. In fact, many fighter jets are designed to take just one pilot. So that kind of aircraft in which we were told that the 2 persons ejected is not designed for ejection. No passenger plane is so designed. It's only fighter jets that are designed for ejection in case of clear and present danger. So it makes no sense to say that the jets that will carry the chief of army staff, that some people ejected from it. That aircraft does not have that capacity. And clearly, people just took a video of 2018 and played it and made it look like it's a recent one to sustain the funny argument
theory
that, the chief of army staff was murdered, that some people planted a bomb in it and then decided to eject before the bomb exploded. It's a very ridiculous way of manipulating people through the social media.
Oba, this is quite unbelievable, because when I saw the clip, the picture, the video, and I was like, wow. So now, from what explanation of Jide now, this is incontrovertible.
Yes,
because it's not even a fighter jet.
We need to even wait for the final, investigation. I know, I understand
that this one, people cannot be ejected out of this one.
The picture is just an old picture. The video is an old video.
So why are people fond of that?
I don't know. Maybe to validate the conspiracy theory, like you said. Just to validate the lies that they are peddling. Because the initial report that came out from the so-called eyewitnesses was that the craft exploded mid-air before crash landing. It painted a picture of maybe something went wrong up there, because bad weather couldn't have caused an explosion mid-air.
Yes.
Because I don't know how bad weather and explosion mid-air come to play together. So they had to go online, look for something, manufacture some content, doctor some videos, or look for an old video, push out to justify that claim. But then again, let's wait for the final investigation, AIB, and let's see what they have to say about this.
But now, during the NSAS protests, there was this dead body on Nigeria flag and blood all over the flag and everything. It was later that I found out that, look, it was even a movie that they went to go and lift the blood.
Well, I think it is just unfortunate that Nigerians particularly will go to any extent to validate any claim that we believe in. People should stop using the social media or any means whatsoever just to prove a point. In your attempt to prove a point, you may mislead a lot of people, and it may cause crisis in a particular country. Imagine somebody bringing out a video of an event that happened.
And some people will just even start shooting, and maybe Boko Haram shooting in Chad or Libya. There's one particular one that I saw. It's as if they've taken over. They said that look at Boko Haram has entered Yobe State, and you have a lot of,
especially media managers too. We should be circumspect in the way we manage information, in the way we dispense information, and the way we share things, because it is capable of igniting a fire, the end of which all of us
will be consumed.
So we have to be very careful about what we ignite.
Every day we have new technologies, capable of manipulating videos or pictures or creating graphics. I'm a graphics person myself, and I understand all of this secret. And as a public relations person, it behoves on the public relations manager or managers of these agencies to also be ahead of these conspiracy theories as regards this. You understand? When the public have full information about certain things, some lies will never find a footing. They will never find a place to stay. But when you sit back and you just allow things to fester like this, people will just, feast on that, your silence, to push out dangerous things, which of course may consume all of us at the end of the day.
Today you talked about this particular Bridgecraft aircraft that was purchased brand new in 2015. Now, I know something about aviation, that it's not how new it is, that are you able to maintain it, even if the aircraft is 30, 40 years? What was the last time you went for A check, B check, C check and your
D-check.
D checks. So it's the maintenance that matter. That is not the number of years. Now I want you to evaluate those our fighter jets, because we normally talk about some of them being decommissioned a long time ago. Is it still healthy to fight to still work with those fighter jets?
Yes, you see, an aircraft that is constantly maintained will give you all that you need, will function effectively. The information that I got in Abuja was that April 19 was the last time that this particular aircraft was went for servicing. So April 19 to May 21, 2021, it's not such a long time. You know, it's not such a long time. And it reinforces the feeling that this accident was not due to technical issues, but a result of bad weather or bad weather, really, because
Just told us now.
to have serviced it
What you just told us now
on
is not even
April
public.
19,
A
I
lot
want
of
to
people
believe
don't
that.
know. They are not aware of what happened. That this thing was
early
actually
enough.
thrown off balance.
Now we talk about the quality of our maintenance personnel. We've got to constantly train our people, prepare them sufficiently so that they can have terrific understanding of this aircraft and provide, use their knowledge to ensure that they are properly serviced and serviced in the right way. This is what I will advise the Chief of Air Staff to invest in. We need as we are sending pilots abroad for training, we need to constantly get the maintenance men to train and train and train. Constant training of these men so that they can take effective care of our aircraft. But if you look at the way we use our aircraft in Nigeria, these same aircraft, we use them to lift VIPs. I'm talking about the jets on the Air Force fleet. They lift VIPs, they lift weapons, they do troops insertion, they embark on casualty evacuation in the course of the war, and then they provide close air support for ground troops. We use this aircraft a lot. So if we recorded 11 fatalities, 11 air crashes in 6 years, that represents 1.83% rate of loss in a year. That means it's not up to 2 that gets lost in a year. If you check the record, even for some countries that they are not involved in war, they are at peacetime, even in the course of training, these crashes happen. In the case of the Americans, for example, 224 pilots were killed and 186 aircraft were lost between 2013 and now. That's a period of 8 years that America lost 224 pilots to accidents and 186 aircraft between 2013 and today. That is a period of 8 years. So if we divide that, it means that they lost 23.8 aircraft per year. You look at our own, it's less than 2 aircraft that we lost in the last 6 years. We've lost 11 aircraft in 6 years. So when you compare it to the Americans, the gap is quite wide. Of course, the Americans have so many aircraft, but they are not really at war. The kind of war that we are going through in our country at this time, they are fighting bandits, they are fighting Boko Haram, they are very, very active. They carry the president, the Air Force carries the vice president, they carry the Senate president, they carry VIPs, they are involved in so much work. So I can say that we have every reason to even thank God that the rate of aircraft losses is not higher than it is now, because once you are, in fact, it's not. I'm happy that it's not enemy fire that is really bringing down these planes. In the final analysis, a lot of them maybe weather failure, bad weather, and all that.
Okay, I wanted to go for this break.
If
when we come
America
back,
has lost one.
Babajide, when we come back, we'll talk more. So we'll take this break. We'll be right back. This is Journalist Hangout. We'll be right back. Stay with us. It's your favorite news and current affairs program reaching you from the television station of the year, TVC News. And I have Tunde Abaton still in the house, and Oba Adeoye and Babajide Kolade Otitoju is in Abuja. And Oba, in the final analysis, I think information management is what we have here. The information Jide has given to us today, that look, this thing came from Abuja, it landed, it's skidded off the wrong way by, maybe it was blown off the wrong way by the weather.
As a result of the bad weather.
We don't know that for a fact, but the picture Nigerians they have is that maybe that thing was blown mid-air and everything. Right now, at least we are getting there, so that it will reduce the number of conspiracy theories that's going around the place.
I mentioned it earlier.
What's the Air Force Public Relations Department doing?
I mentioned it earlier. You just made another reference to it. Information management is key here. We live in an age where everywhere you turn these days, you have a torrent of information staring at you.
Rumor.
So the people at the center of it all need to constantly push out information as much as possible. The more information you push out, the tendency for you to kill disinformation out there. But if you, naturally Nigerians, I don't know, maybe it's a cultural thing, I wouldn't know. We enjoy the hoarding of information for no just cause, especially agencies and agencies of government and what have you. If you have information, push it out. In the absence of information you want to push out, and you have event like this happening, people will manufacture a lot of things and they will mislead the people. Like he said earlier, that such misleading may end up consuming all of us. So you can't sit down in your office, fold your hands, and expect Oga to give you directive before you start pushing out certain information. Look, this thing has happened. This information Jide just gave us shouldn't come from Jide. It should be something that should come from those saddled with that responsibility. Almost immediately the accident happened. That way you wouldn't have given any room.
The plane made it
give us that information. What we had in the news was that the plane exploded mid-air and it came down. But Jide is telling us now that it's different from what really happened. So the people that are saddled with that responsibility need to sit up. They should not give their job to Jide to do for them. They need to sit up and do their work.
I think basically we also have to look at the fact that we have an unusually long room in quotes in our information management. If anything happens, if a very competent PRO, you have to take authority from the Director General, after that the Permanent Secretary, after that the Commissioner of
the
bureaucracy is too much. So it has created a long room. Within that time, we are in a very dynamic world now. Something that happens in Chicago 30 minutes ago, you can view it in my village here. So we are in a global world now. I think there is a need for us to change our orientation of information managers and orientation of our civil service system that have a tendency for hoarding information, thinking that you are defending the system. When you defend the system too much, you reveal more. Let me tell you something about 2 years ago. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo's house, a portion of it got burned. Do you know what Baba did? Baba deliberately asked the media to come and say, my house is burned to someone. So at the end of the day, he didn't give room for people to speculate that some people have burned Obasanjo's house. He was even dancing and sharing. He was telling journalists, well, Obasanjo's house has gone burned. The people, there was no room for any speculation whatsoever. He said it as it was.
Already counted it.
So we have to retrain our people, our information managers, to be proactive. And our other ministers, the long room is too much.
Babajide, I don't know, maybe you found out when the accident bureau will be coming up with the report of, the detailed report of this accident.
Sometimes it takes so long before the report is released. They are going to analyze the black box and they see what's recorded in there and be able to let Nigerians know the cause of the accident. Accident can happen anytime. Sometimes through no fault of the aircraft, but the fault of the pilot. Maybe a wrong decision, or something like that. There was a foreign airline that crashed. Foreign airliner that crashed. The pilot, the lead pilot or the captain, left the cockpit to talk to his girlfriend in the cabin. And once the airplane ran into stormy weather, the co-pilot didn't have the experience to maneuver the aircraft out of danger, and that led to a crash. But as I've said before, we don't need to get unnecessarily filled with tension about what has happened. If America can lose 186 aircraft in 8 years, that's losing 23.8 in a year, and we have lost less than 2. By the average of what we have lost less than 2 in a year. That is the average. So yes, this is bad enough because VIPs have been lost, and aircrafts are very expensive, so we don't want to lose them. But I also would recommend that the Nigerian Air Force invest more in unmanned area vehicles. Remember the aircraft that came down just before this one, the one that came down in February, they were monitoring bandits in the Niger area. If you have unmanned area vehicles, otherwise known as drones, pilots don't have to be physically present in them, or people analyzing data or the pictures that the aircraft is taking. They don't have to be physically present in the aircraft. And there are drones now that can even be airborne for days. So if we acquire drones, for example, that can do 36 hours non-stop, just monitoring the enemy and recording where they are hiding and all that, we will be able to preserve more lives of our pilots, who now have to fly reconnaissance planes that are manned by human beings and all that. So we need to invest more in drones. That is the way to go. There are even solar-powered drones now that some countries are using. Solar-powered that can remain airborne for more than a month. So we have to invest in such things and be able to save lives. And as I said earlier, we have to invest in our technicians, in our maintenance people, so that they can have perfect knowledge of this aircraft and take good care of them and be able to save the lives of our people.
All right, moving on now. An idea whose time has come is bound to get endorsement from far and near. The call for the ban of open grazing is gaining traction across Nigeria. The leaders of the All Progressive Congress, APC, in the Southwest have endorsed the position of the Southern Governors Forum banning open grazing in the region. After a meeting in Lagos, the APC leaders recommend that the federal government and state governments cooperate to enact necessary measures to encourage modern method of cattle rearing. They also condemn calls for cessation by some groups in the country. Let's share this story with you. Leaders of the All Progressive Congress, APC, in the Southwest emerged from a 4-hour meeting on the state of the nation. While rising insecurity was top on the agenda, other issues were also addressed.
Good evening, gentlemen of the press.
Former interim national chairman of the All Progressive Congress and former governor of Osun State, Chief Bisi Akande, read the communique to journalists at the end of the meeting.
We express our strong opposition to separatist agitation and hate speeches, while urging those indulging in such to desist forthwith. We renew our belief in the unity, stability, and sustainability of the country. While mindful of the resource and other constraints facing the nation, we urge the federal government to continue to make the necessary expenditures and allocate sufficient resources to enable the military and security agencies to tackle the difficult security challenges confronting us.
The Southwest leaders endorsed the position of the Southern Governors Forum banning open grazing in the region.
We endorse the position of the Southern Governors taken at their May 11, 2021 summit in Asaba, Delta State, regarding ranching. We do so because such a decision will lessen tensions between farmers and herders. The ongoing
In a separate media chat, the national leader of the APC, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, declared that he has not endorsed any candidate for the forthcoming local government election in Lagos State. He warned people against dropping his name for political favor.
It is very clear. I have not endorsed or proclaimed anybody, not one single person, as anointed candidate for our party, APC. You should comply with the guidelines of the party.
The party leaders called on the federal government to assist herders in setting up ranches across the country to check challenges associated with open grazing. Ayodele Uzubakun, TVC News, Lagos. I actually attended that meeting of Marina, the government house yesterday. The meeting had Chief Bisi Akande, as you can see, the national leader of the All Progressive Congress, that's Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, the governor of Lagos State, that's Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the governor of Ogun State, Mr. Dapo Abiodun, the governor of Osun State, that's Gboyega Oyetola, that's Gboyega Oyetola. We also had the former governor of Ogun State, that's Akinrogun Olusegun Oshoba, and that meeting we also have Chief Pius Akinyelure and the elder statesman General Alani Akinrede, not forgetting the number 4 man, the Speaker of House of Representatives, Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila. So today we gathered that John Kayode Fayemi was meant to be there, and the communication wasn't too right before the meeting. I read his press release, and Arakunrin at the governor of Ondo State, Arakunrin also said that he's meant to be there, but he's he endorsed everything, the decision that was actually made in that meeting. Tunde Abaton, as a political reporter for several years standing, now looking at it after the South-South Governors Forum, now the Southwest leaders, these are Southwest leaders from the All Progressive Congress. They're now saying the ban on open grazing, that they are standing by the governors. And let's start from the secessionists, the Yoruba nation, people calling for Yoruba nation, people calling for IPOB and everything. So this elder statement, they are saying that no, it's a no-go area, that our unity cannot be negotiated.
Well, I think, first of all, there are three aspects to it. We have to recognize one fact about the Southwest people. They are very highly political, highly sophisticated people, and highly independent people when it concerns the policy that affects them. I would say it is very unfortunate that the leaders took a long time to come out to comment about this thing. Because it is when you look at the Nigerian nation, it is the inability of the Nigerian people to reconcile themselves with the kind of government we have. That is what is causing tension all over the place. When government is not addressing the question of equity, justice all over the place, then you expect people to be driven to the wall. Naturally, 3 years ago, 4 years, you won't hear anybody in the Southwest talking about secession. So I think we have to know that. Another thing is that it is on record that in 2015, the APC has, as one of its campaign program, restructuring of the country. Yes. Up till now, that's why I'm saying it is taking too late. 6 years, all these governors in the Southwest, they know one of the things that made the people to vote. That was to vote for the ruling party is the fact that because Southwest play politics of ideology, but in Nigeria today, they have their own ideology, they have a reasons for voting. Because the president today, in 2023, it was not voted for in the Southwest. In 2007, it was not voted for. In 2011, not on the 2015, when Southwest. So Southwest has been the main decider of who rules Nigeria, where a Southwest man is not in charge. So it should not have taken them 6 years to talk about the German issue on which the president campaigned of restructuring and security. Insecurity, where you can say they are trying, but they have been overwhelmed. They have left it too open. But the issue of restructuring, if it had been tackled, maybe the issue of secession would not have taken place. Because absolutely it would not have taken place in the first instance. So I think they are coming out at a time in which they are doing that. But, you know, Governor Akeredolu said something that is very germane. He said that even though it will not prevent anybody from coming out to air their grievances in a peaceful and democratic way, but at the same time, it's not against them and it's not going to support them. I think it is a food for thought. So Southwest is very, very dynamic. And it is good that they are coming out now. They have to do that, but I won't say it is too late. But I think they should also have passed the message to the ruling APC to do something about their campaign promises in 2015.
Oba, some people have argued further that the call for secession has never been this high. That this administration, with their action or inaction, have succeeded in foiling the agitation. Like, yes, IPOB has been there since 1999, started by Raf Wazwiki, that's Masob, movement for the survival of sovereign state of Biafra. After Masob, now there's this IPOB thing. But it's not a creation of this administration anyway. Now, but some people are arguing that the people agitating for Yoruba nation, that it was out of the inaction of this government. Do you agree?
Absolutely, I agree, 100%. I think he said it also. He made reference to it while responding to your question, where you have the wanton failure of leadership. You tend to have stuff like this happening all around us. If you check previous administrations under this in this republic, starting from 1999, you realize that, of course, we have been hearing stories of agitation for secession, especially from the eastern part of the country. It has never spread to other part of the country like this ever before. Now, was it last Saturday or so in Akure, the capital of Ondo State, thousands of Yoruba people also, thronged the street, making noise on making their demands for an independent Yoruba nation. Rather than telling these people to shut up, rather than telling these people not to make their agitations known, I think we need to address the issues that gave birth to this agitation in the first instance. Restructuring was one of the catchphrases that the APC used in riding to power in 2015. Long before 2015, they have, particularly people you are seeing on the screen, People you are seeing on the screen, I know I've read their
Since the
interviews.
announcement of June 12 election,
Yes.
restructuring has been the front burner.
Yes, majority of these people you are seeing on the screen right there, they at different fora and at different occasions, they've made mention and they've clamored for restructuring, that they are going to restructure this nation.
Yeah, in their
when
statement
get
yesterday,
power.
they didn't call it restructuring, but what they said, they were talking about devolution of power. They were talking about state police.
What is restructuring? I
is
think that's a big
That's
question.
what I'm telling you.
That's a question we need to
They
answer.
avoided that word restructuring was avoided.
I think
so.
But
But if you ask me, these people gave popularity to the word restructuring, especially.
okay, okay. Let me go to Abuja. Jude. Yesterday,
Yeah.
Chief Akode was talking about, true federalism. He was talking about devolution of power. He was talking about, the clamor for state police. But that word restructuring was just avoided. Yes, but all the components that we know form part of the agitation for restructuring were embedded in that speech today.
Yes, but when you are talking about fiscal federalism, it's still restructuring. When you are asking for state police, it's restructuring. When you are asking for power generation to be taken off the exclusive list, it's still restructuring. When you are even asking for a new revenue allocation formula, is still restructuring. So it depends on what you call it. There are all kinds of things that people desire to see to make Nigeria a much better place, to make our federalism, true federalism, not federalism that is extremely similar to unitarism. So it's still restructuring. When I ask for state police, even autonomy for local councils that has not been there, if we're asking for it, it's still restructuring. So, and I don't see why anybody should be against restructuring, because at the end of the day, some of these things will benefit even some of the things that people are asking for now, including fiscal federalism, will benefit some of the people who are against restructuring for no just cause. No one should be afraid of restructuring, and we should never be afraid of talking to one another as a people. I've spoken in the past about what transpired in 2006 when we had leaders from across the country come together. Obasanjo brokered it at that way, facilitated it at that time. The people of Nigeria, represented by their leaders, they came together and made all kinds of demands that pointed to restructuring at that time. One of the demands was that we should have rotatory presidency. At the level of their meetings, they decided that, okay, this rotatory presidency should even cascade to the states, whereby power will be rotated between the 3 senatorial zones in each state. That is restructuring. But because Obasanjo wanted third time, all of the demands that people came up with were thrown away. You can't throw the baby along with bath water. No, you can't do that. There are many things that we are not getting right. Our country has become so big now that we have to find a way to restructure and give some powers to other federating units. For example, the idea of the federal government having so many thousands of kilometers of our roads in its care, I don't think it's working, because they can't even fix a lot of those roads. So some of the powers allocated to the executive, some of the powers that the federal government has, we've got to find a way to cut down some of those powers and let other federating units take care of some responsibilities. In other climes, even local councils, they have their own police. You go to the US every time you have an opportunity to travel. You know that at county level, they have law enforcement.
200 police units.
Yes.
In the entire US,
yes.
18,000 universities.
How can restructuring be a bad thing? I don't know how restructuring can be a bad thing.
People who benefit or who are the beneficiaries of this system will not want restructuring. So, of course, restructuring is not bad.
No, when you are talking about restructuring now, some people will
it's even vague. Spell it out. It's even vague to a lot of people.
And some people will think it is altering the status quo so that the continued.
But whether we like it or not, restructuring will happen. The format or the form that it takes may be out of control, but it will still happen at some point in time, whether we like it or not.
Tunda Baso.
Yeah, but I think the problem we have in this country is foundational. Foundational in the sense that Nigeria is the only country, I haven't read a lot of constitution of countries. There's not the only country that is so diverse, multilingual, multi-ethnic, multiracial,
religious.
That we are using unitary system to run it. Soviet Union, the former Soviet Union did it between 1940 and 1991, and the thing packed off because they were trying to coerce everybody together in one small box. There's no way. Look, there's a Chinese proverb which says that the best way to be selfish is to be selfless. The best way for those people who are manipulating Nigeria is to allow people to develop on their own level, so that at your own corner you can do your own. You have to do it. So we should not put Nigeria in one single box. And the kind of system you have in San Francisco, to come and operate it in Ogun State, it's not possible.
My producers are on my neck. I want to thank you. Obadiah, thank you.
Ayo, it's my pleasure.
We started from E15.
You're always taking me back memory lane, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Here today. Thank you for your contribution. And BKO is still enjoying Abuja. When are you coming back?
As an adventure.
I'm working hard here.
I want to thank you for your contribution today. And Tunde Abaton, thank you for your contribution. That's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on YouTube. We're on youtube.com at TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Ozubakun. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.